Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Dark Matter Residency info session. And we are recording this, of course, so you may be watching this after the fact. If so, hopefully we'll answer your questions in this session. And if not, you can feel free to reach out to us via email, and we'll have that email in the description of this video, and we'll also have it available in other means as well. So I wanted to start out, we have 3 of the 5 Dark Matter Residency panel here in attendance, Katrina Flores and Adam Zanelini, and then myself, Sam Lewis. And so I just wanted to start off with Adam, since he has a good handle on a lot of the really basic information about the residency program, and then we'll take it from there. So the floor is yours.
I also have to sign off on the early side. I've got to run to issue. It's
Even
not an elastic, so
even a better reason for you to go first.
Yeah, so let me go first. Hi, anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Adam Zanelini. I am the executive director of Elastic Arts. Really excited about this new cohort of residents that we're going to select this time. The last 2 have been spectacular. I have no doubt that the next one will be as well. The Dark Matter Residency is an artist residency for Chicago-based emergent artists of color. We're presently considering also formulating a digital/virtual residency for people who do not live in Chicago, but that is coming soon. The in-person version is for Chicago-based artists of any discipline to come and be in residency at Elastic Arts. Elastic Arts is an organization that runs Elastic Arts Foundation is an organization that runs Elastic Arts, which is a venue in Logan Square. It's 2,500 square feet, a very flexible space, which can be set up many, many different ways. We have plenty of appointments that can support a lot of different projects. And we also have a considerable amount of expertise and staff and some marketing apparatus that we put towards people's endeavors. So the Dark Matter Residency is a 7-month-long residency. The process will be to select people we're going to collect applications through February, select people in March. In the spring, the residents will be able to sort of work on their projects. We ask residents to put together 2 public events, depending on their discipline, their practice. Many of the artists that we work with and many of the artist residents cross disciplinary boundaries. Some people are just simply musicians, some people are just simply visual artists, but many more are musicians who are also visual artists or dancers or video artists or performance artists, installation artists, artists of every imaginable shape and form. And we love that very, very much. So if your project, if the thing that you're thinking of crosses boundaries, that means we'll love it all the more. And so depending on what your practice is and what your discipline is, we ask the residents to present 2 public events in our space throughout the course of the residency, which can be concerts, exhibitions, film screenings, fashion shows, anything that will be the relevant kind of event for what you are doing. So in addition to that, there are opportunities to engage with, even further. We have connections in different areas of the city. We're going to be undertaking an outreach program over the summer, presenting world-class performing arts in some of the other neighborhoods of the city, especially places that don't have as much arts infrastructure. So Sam is going to be leading that. We have opportunities maybe to engage with other arts organizations in the city. And so, it just really depends on the kind of work that you propose. And then culminating the residency is our annual Afrofuturist Weekend, which combines work from the residents with other notable artists from Chicago and also outside of the city. in a 3-day celebration of everything that's positive about the imagined Black future. So that's kind of the nutshell. We have the residents receive $1,000 stipend, and then $300 in additional artist fees for each of the 2 events, public presentations that they give at Elastic. And then there are additional artist fees involved with the Afrofuturist Weekend, depending on what kind of participation they have. I'm trying to think of what else is like some of the basics. We also will invite the residents to be present at the annual Elastic Arts benefit event that will take place on the 20th of May. Not necessarily presenting anything, just being here and celebrating our space and community and meeting the very wide-ranging artists and curators and founders of Elastic, along with our community of supporters and people that just love our organization. So that's our benefit event on the 20th of May. And then we're also asking the residents to participate in community engagement activities, especially a community engagement event on Juneteenth, presenting free programming to the community right around the corner at Solidarity Triangle. We're also new this year. We're sort of really ramping up our alumni engagement kind of program. Now that we have 2 cohorts, we have like sort of a body of alumni. So after the residency is completed, then you will be a Dark Matter alum. And we will continue to develop just events for people to stay engaged with the residency, stay engaged with Elastic, and helping to grow the network of people that have come through the program, people who are like-minded about the kinds of work that we love and support. So to that end, we have invited one of the most recent Dark Matter alums, Katrina Flores, who's joined us on the call today. And so she's volunteered to sort of really head up that initiative and make that really, really strong going forward. Angel Batawid has just joined the call. So she is member number 4 of the panel of people who are reading through applications and helping us structure this whole thing as we go forward. I think maybe I've spoken enough for the moment, and I'd like to turn it back over to Sam to fill in the blanks that I have missed.
Yes, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. Yeah, I can add a couple things, and then I wanted to see if Katrina or Angel had anything they wanted to add. I know that one big part, I think a big differentiator, which we touched on Saturday, is that it's a residency program for artists of color, particularly Black artists, but it's also run by artists of color, particularly Black artists. And I think we take that seriously from kind of a mentoring aspect, also an understanding aspect, and an engagement aspect of like really wanting to have you all or everyone who's taking part in the residency succeed. So that's our commitment. And we think that that's kind of a big differentiator from like other residency programs. So I just wanted to get that out there. And then secondly, Adam talked about events that we'd love for you to hold. And there's a big definition of what that can mean. But the residency program really started as a series, the Dark Matter series, and we featured artists that we thought were answering the prompt of what's next, or what is the next thing we're going to do artistically as people of color, and what does that look like, and trying to support that. And then the residency program grew out of that. But we would like to get the series kind of back on its feet a little bit, inviting alumni to come and perform, inviting residents to perform, kind of as a build up to Afrofuturist Weekend, which is really was a celebration of the Dark Matter series initially. And so we have some ideas of some events that we want to have. And then I know Angel in particular is really thinking about a Juneteenth event in June, of course. And so I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for presentation. And then Angel's also thinking, like Adam mentioned about, and Katrina as well, about this community aspect to the program, and trying to find ways to really meaningfully connect with the community and be teachers yourselves as you are working on your own craft. And so, and everyone on the panel is an artist as well. And so I think that's also an important and a very important point. So we get it, you know, and that's kind of why we did it. I would say that. Oh, and so some of the ways, like I talked about ways that that Angel and Katrina are going to go above and beyond to support the residency, which hopefully they'll elaborate on. But Jonathan, who isn't here, is a tremendous director, videographer. The titles go on, and he will be kind of documenting the experience that the residents have and putting things together. Like if you were at the Saturday event, that wonderful video at the end, the summary, which is something that we have to do anyway to satisfy some of our funder demands. But I think it's a great, you can't really say more to give people an idea of what the residency is about than what he did to sum it up for the last couple of years, which has been fantastic. And so those resources are available, that technical know-how and ability, because we are in going through the pandemic. We've more thoroughly learned the power of recorded material and documentation. And so I think it's going forward is going to be even a greater part of the residency. So he's our main man, so controlling that thing. But other of us have experience in that area too. But yeah, for sure. So I will hand it over to either Katrina or Angel, whoever would like to speak, or both of you, to elaborate on anything else.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey Camila. Hey. I'm so glad that you are here and that you want more information.
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna get all the info.
Yes.
That gives you a good leg. Whatever questions you have, and I'm sure you have some. Thank you, Adam and Sam. You can kind of see how we all play our different roles. One of the roles that I really wanted to kind of like be more intentional about was making sure that the work that you do, if you're in this program or whatever artist gets programmed, that they have the resources and the support to be able to see their art not just as like your finished product, but the finished product for our community, you know, like that's really why we're doing this. We have to have our own legacies. And so I really wanted this year to be more involved in that process, you know, and it's more like, it's not going to be my ideas. It's going to be like, okay, you've got this great project. What ways and what resources that we have, like Katrina has like an extensive amount of resources from all the work she's done in our administrative, Adam, Sam, all the connections we have. Like, we want to see how we can make the artists that we pick, make their work, you know, spread out in all the resources that we have. And so this will involve, for me, like just offering time to sit down and kiki, talk about your projects in more details, things like that. You know, I feel like that's really where we need a lot of support as Black artists, is, you know, sometimes just having someone to talk about it, you know, or just walk you through it. So that's where I will be stepping up. And also, I really want to do this Juneteenth celebration, and I really want to help all of the artists figure out ways that they feel comfortable to contribute to that celebration. Right? You talking about like right there on the side there where that little square is on diversity? I mean, it would be so lit to have something.
Yeah.
That would be so lit. And it's June. So, that's like our beautiful months here in Chicago. Hopefully it's going to be a beautiful day. And, just a way to kind of like a midway point to see where you're at in your process. Because, of course, the ultimate show that you have to look forward to is Afrofuturist Weekend, which is something that's been it's came out of the Dark Matter series, and now it's a Black run music artist festival here in Chicago, and we need to start giving ourselves a little bit more props for it, because I'm sorry, like there are no Black run music festivals showing what we're showing as far as what's going on in Chicago. So we can also start thinking, like, I also want to help artists think about this is like, okay, now if you're in this, you're part of that legacy, like you're in for good. And so, and that's pretty historical coming out now. So I'm really looking forward to this year. If you have any questions about the application process, or if there's questions on the application, or and also when you do look at the questions, we really are looking. Oh, we got somebody else coming in. Cool. Well, we really are looking for be yourself. Don't fill these out how you would fill out those those grant applications. Don't get all wordy and fluffy about it. Like, be yourself, of course, but be very direct. Be very clear about your, also be very clear about that community aspect. You know what I mean? Think about that. And most importantly, don't think about trying to impress us. Just be who you are, and make sure you can clearly write who you are and what you're about. That's my advice. But I'll let Katrina talk.
Thanks, Angel.
It's really exciting, the things that Angel is talking about, the community aspect of it. So I just want to amplify that as well. I think that that's always been part of the residency, but to now amplify that component of it, I think is just really important, and is going to be a huge highlight to this year's residency. And that's really exciting, because the arts should be about lifting as we climb. And so that's exciting. One thing I wanted to add from everything that Adam and Sam have, talked about so far, is that the process, so the application is one thing. And once you become a resident, I think one thing that is so important, right, is about how you are supported, how you are engaged through the residency. And I know Angel touched a bit about that, and so I'm going to continue a little bit about that. Is that's so important for us to be checking in with you, to be communicating with you, to see how the process is going for you. And also so important for all of the residents that get picked to also do that collectively and in community, because really, while you are going to be on your own journey, it is a collective journey as well. And that is a really important piece, I think, as we begin to build, right, this idea of what it means to become part of this family, not just for 7 months you're in residence, but also how that continues to build afterwards into that alumni component, right? So that really what this is about building generationally a future of collaborative artists that are doing amazing things out in the world, and can say that this was a seed of their bloom. And I think that is really exciting. We want to build a flourishing future together. And that is, what dark matter is. It's like, how can you build your flourishing future? How do you see yourself, in that process for yourself? And then because you gone through that process for you through your art, you're able to then contribute as a collective, not only within the residency, but then out in the world. And so, yeah, we are really excited to see the applications that come in and excited about going through them and seeing who will be the cohort 3, and how that will continue to build and grow this amazing future forward collective of artists that are going to do amazing things to call the future that we all need forward.
Absolutely.
So with that, I think, I think we're excited to pour into folks. And also, you know, there's no one way. So we know that you will pour into us as well. And we're excited about that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Welcome, Jazz. Thanks for coming in.
Sorry about the tardiness.
No,
I
it's
was just
okay.
finishing my daughter's homework stuff. So
hey, that's the important stuff.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you. I'm Angel. Just to meet you.
Sam.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi, Katrina.
I want to give a quick shout out. Jackar is in the film.
Wait, you were one of the dancers in the
yeah
little girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
So beautiful.
Oh wow!
Thank you.
When we saw the movie, all of us saw it. Camila, you saw the movie.
Yeah,
hey,
I actually know that.
Hey,
Hey,
y'all know each
Camila.
other already. Okay, look at this. Okay.
yes.
Oh, good. Your
I love
daughter's
Camila.
gorgeous.
Yes.
Aww.
So I know Adam has to leave pretty soon. So I just wanted to see if you all had any questions, Jazz and Camila, before Adam left, especially.
You can go ahead.
I feel like I missed a good tidbit of what was discussed. But yeah, would you be able to give me a small sample of what was touched on?
Well, I can. We're recording this, so we'll be, or you can catch up. So I would suggest if you had any question, whether you think we covered it or not, I would say anyway.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything on the top of my head, but yeah.
I mean, basically, broad strokes, we have a 7-month residency that runs basically from May until the fall. We ask residents to present 2 events at Elastic, also community engagement activities that Angel is going to help to coordinate. You get $1,000 stipend and then $300 in artist fees to help support the projects that you want, the presentations that you do. And so the application is due on the 5th of March. The program kind of culminates with the Afrofuturist Weekend in October. Sam touched on like a lot of the kind of foundational aspects of the residency, which come out of the Dark Matter series. And so the Dark Matter series is going to kind of revive itself a little bit this year. Angel talked again about community engagement and how we're going to encourage the residents to really kind of take their work to the community. And Katrina amplified all of that and talked about, you know, all of the different aspects of the alumni network and the opportunity to kind of build and grow this community, you know, beyond just the cohort of residents that participate this year, encouraging kind of cross-pollination, residents working together with each other, and then kind of connecting out with the greater Elastic community and the you know, the arts community in general.
That's dope. That's amazing.
That was powerful. A perfect recap. That was amazing.
It really is amazing.
So if you have any questions about how the process works, or the people that you're talking to are Katrina, Sam, Angel, and myself, and one other person who's not present, Jonathan Woods, are the panel of people that will be discussing the applications and ultimately choosing the people who make up the cohort. And so also Sam was talking about Jonathan Woods is an amazing videographer, filmmaker, and he'll help document the work that everyone is doing. And also kind of does a lot of work to like advise people on developing those videographical skills themselves, which has become ever more relevant in the pandemic moment. And, you know, we'll definitely continue beyond it because video is an important medium and it's within everyone's power. So as well just use it. So he's got those skills on, you know, he can teach those skills on like every level of experience. And he's extremely generous with that knowledge. He's a wonderful resource in this time.
You experienced that firsthand, Jazz, right?
Yeah, he's pretty hands-on. Like he's good with moving around and being flexible. But that's really dope, like that he's gonna be sharing that information. You said residency. So what community is this based in? Like what neighborhood?
So Elastic Arts is located in Logan Square, like on the border of Avondale.
Oh, wow. Okay. Logan Square. Okay.
Yeah, but I think like we mentioned earlier, there's opportunities though for exploring your work and engagement in a bunch of different communities on the South Side, the West Side, all over the place, due to a lot of outreach programs that we have. We're going to be doing a number of events in various parts of the city. We are trying to get some, and we're very close. I think it's hard to say we got it, but we are very close to making a partnership with Marwin, which is on Orleans near Chicago. And it's a 35-plus-year-old organization that has all kinds of great capacity that we don't have, like 3D printers, a really dope dark room, a ceramic studio with a kiln and pottery wheels, sewing machines, like a whole fabric situation, a lighting studio. They have a lot. And it's also a great place for potential community engagement because they deal with a lot of youth. And so they are looking for people to give workshops. They're looking for people to teach courses there. So if that's something that you are capable and interested in doing, that could be an opportunity as well as a way to kind of trade back for the access that they're willing to give. So, and then Jonathan and myself are both involved with a company called Auspice Now, which is really the organization that's behind the documentation process of the residency. And it's a production company and record label. And there's opportunities to be featured on releases from Auspice Now and get visuals made after the fact under Auspice Now. And so kind of basically signing a deal with Auspice. But to be in all honesty, we're a very young company with a lot of people with experience, but the company itself is pretty young and still like establishing itself. But I think it's a pretty good opportunity as well. And so we're kind of looking for other partnerships like that, so that we can better serve you all from a capacity standpoint.
That is beautiful.
What we do have is a 2,500 square foot, very flexible space with a bunch of lighting and instruments and sound equipment, and a lot of people who, are, part of the community that runs this space and have established it as an institution in the city, who just love to support other artists. And that's almost as important as creating their own work. And so that's kind of the spirit that we have here, is like artists helping other artists to create, And it's just lots of people who that's what they do. And that's their main thing. And they just love it. And it's always inspiring. Sure as hell inspired me. Excuse my French. And so that's what we have here, that you have immediate access to as soon as you become a resident.
The place. Yeah.
Which includes drums, a baby grand piano, Oregon.
Sorry, a full grand piano. Sam.
Oh, a full.
We have a 7-foot grand Steinway.
Yes.
They got a new sound system too, like an awesome cleat system. Like if you want it.
Oh, the cleat.
Like when you think about your whatever project you're thinking about submitting for this. You know, you don't limit yourself. You know, we're not looking just for a musician who's just a musician. That's all you. We're looking whatever you do. You can be a musician who also writes books, who also, you don't have to define yourself into a box, you know. And then we have the resources to, we just want to be able to have the resources to the cohort to make whatever it is they want to do a lot easier. Because the reason why I exist is because it's hard being a Black artist. You know what I mean? Nobody's looking out for us. They ain't thinking about us, so we got to think about each other. And that's why, you know, really encourage you guys to apply. If you're here, that means that you really, that means you got some. If you're here today, I already know what you got, Camila. I already done seen. I'm so grateful that you showed up. By the way, did you have any questions?
I definitely did have some questions, but y'all can get through.
No, go ahead.
What's your question? Go, please.
Oh, so I did have a couple of questions. The main question I did have, especially with y'all stressing, you know, multidisciplinary artists and being able to give all of us resources and things. I know in the application, there is, you know, a section for, you know, a project or two, and then a description and things of that nature. If you have a couple projects that are already to a point that, you know, with the help of the residency could get finished and could eventually get to where, you know, we envision it to be, would that be something that we could add as well? You know what I mean? I know.
I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who applied with one idea. They explored that idea. That idea wasn't as good as the idea they came up with by hanging out at Elastic and talking with other artists in the cohort and beyond it. They found ways to do something other than what they thought. They found this was a great space to, you know, develop other work that they didn't think would be initially right for the residency. So, you know, this is what I would think it's very important to say, that it's not like you're signing a contract or something like that, where you say, I'm going to do this project. And then you're like, well, you said you're going to do this project. You did something else. That's not at all what it is. We just kind of like want to help you think through some things that might happen. Mm-hmm. If you move away from those things because, you know, we've helped you, you know, envision different possibilities or whatever, that's even better. We love it when plans evolve and change into something new. We just try to get an idea of some of the things that you're working on, that you envision the residency for, and just not that it's like someone like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of cool, I'd like to be in that. You know,
okay.
Don't really have any substantial thoughts about some things they might want to do.
Okay.
I would yes and that to say, if you have a project that's 80% done and you know that you can use part of the time to get it all the rest of the way there, then yes, you know, projects don't have to be at a starting point at the residency. Like, I'm going to start this at the beginning of the residency and finish it by the end. It could be works in progress that just need to be put to the finish line, you know? Did you drop off and come back on?
She's coming back on.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Camila. Oh, she about to.
Hello?
Hey.
I'm sorry. I think I got disconnected.
No problem. What I said real quick was, if you had a project that was like in progress, it's been in progress for 2 years even, and you know that the residency can help you pull it through and finish it, that's great. If you have a project that you're starting at the beginning of the residency and you want to finish it by the end, that's great. If you have a project that you want to start at the beginning of the residency and it's going to live beyond the residency and you just want the residency to give it an initial push, that's great. You know, it's not like we need to see a final book report at the end. There's a nice packaged, finished thing, you know?
Right. I really appreciate that. Okay, cool.
I think what's so exciting about residency, and I think that I hope that the new updated video that Jonathan put together about the residents goes up on the website as well, because I think what was hit home with that is Elastic is about being on the fringe. It's about feeling like you don't belong. And sometimes like your ideas might be all over the place, or you might be so, and a lot of times we're asked to box ourselves in as artists, right? Into like a well-defined what am I, what do I do? And at Elastic, what's so beautiful about this residency and Elastic in general is it is about being comfortable, right, in the experiment of finding joy in being all of who you are. And I think that this residency is really about providing that space to explore, to wild out, to get back into yourself, for all of those things to be able to happen so that you can shake up and hold whatever you need to hold to jump to whatever that next level is for yourself and for your work. And that, we don't grow unless we stretch and we get a little uncomfortable and, have space to move about and fall and get back up. And how beautiful to do that in a place where it's safe to do that. And that's what this residency, I think, really allows.
Absolutely. I have a question for you all. Have you participated in any residency programs before?
I personally have not. And I don't have any music out, and I don't have any of my own personal projects out. So it's not scary for me, but I feel like, and I was telling Angel this personally, when you feel like you're in the right place and like this is like, the step I have to take for myself and my career and for the things that I want to do, and, really having that support. So I don't know if that answers your question. I don't know. I kind of talk all over the place. But,
no, it does.
Yeah.
What about you, Jazz?
It's I'm in the same boat. I'm an artist. I got music that I got 2 projects that I just don't have the money to fund, and all sorts of things like that. And I started an open mic last year, and a lot, COVID has kind of like made everything run amok. So no, I haven't had the residency experience. I have a lot of friends that have had that experience, and I can see how conducive it can be for the creator to, for you as a creator to kind of like really, really, your environment helps you feel comfortable to do those things. If you got the right space and the right support and like-minded people, around you. So yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah, and I asked that question because I went to my first residency in 2018, and it was mind-blowing. And I was like, why the heck didn't I do this before? And I remember having the feeling of wanting to be selfish in the best possible way, to like think about myself and my work. And so I think I say give yourself space to just say, because just like you were saying, and this isn't a live-in residency, but you were saying I'm late because I was helping my daughter with the homework and stuff like that. That's what, you do. And that's what we do. We have all these other things that we're responsible for, but there comes a time when you need to take time and space for yourself and for your work. And I think that's what we're trying to provide, to kind of put you in that headspace to really get something done, to move things along, and we're here to help you in that process.
Especially being artists of color, like honestly, that's a big focus of ours. That really is. Okay, it's like it's just everything for us to be an artist is like 10 times harder. which we don't have to complain about. We can just make it easy for ourselves. I just came from this phone call from auditing a class by a world-renowned musician who played with Sun Ra by the name of Ahmed Abdullah, and he's been letting me audit his classes that he teaches at the new school. And he was talking about Sun Ra and how he was about institution building and how he was about creating a family. He's like, if we're gonna maneuver in this structure, we're gonna have to maneuver together as a unit, you know. And so like I have been involved in the process of this residency, but this year I really felt like we got to level up in our involvement because we're sitting on something very powerful right now. And so I'm just very grateful that both of you came to the information meeting, and I really really hope that you both apply. You guys sound like the kind of artists that we're looking for. People who have had, like, I've done as much as I can do. Can someone just give me a little bit of support so that I can do more? That's what this residency is about. That's what we're here. And we may not have everything, but we're going to try our best to get you whatever we can get you. So we will try our best and give you honest advice and feedback, and things like that. So I really, really hope both of you apply. Really.
Yes.
Okay.
And one thing I think it's important to say right here, that what Angel said just made me think about it, is the reality of the situation is we don't know how many people are going to apply, but the reality of the situation is we have 4 in-person residencies and 2 virtual residencies, and the virtual residencies are open to people outside of Chicago and the in-person people in Chicago. So if 50 people apply, the math just doesn't add up, right? However, I just want you to know sincerely that we have gone through this process and we're like, oh, we can't pick this person or this person. It's like, it's agonizing because they're amazing and so many people are amazing. We wish we had a gazillion dollars to be able to give everyone who wanted a residency, but we can't. However, we do in general have access to other things and other opportunities. And we have so many times, and Adam and Angel and Katrina can testify to the fact that we've circled back around to people that we didn't accept for the residency and gave them other opportunities to be a part of our situation or to help them along in some kind of way. So it even goes beyond just the physical residency, because that is unfortunately limited. But if we like what you're doing, we're going to try to find any kind of way we can to support you as an artist.
This is a very, very difficult process for us because we read so many wonderful projects and we meet so many people that we really, really want to bring in, and we only have space for so many. And it's always like, I hope they come back next year, or can we put them on in the series some other way? Can we invite them to participate in Afrofuturist Weekend and some other thing? You know, find some way, you know, to engage with people, because it's like, there's just way more incredible projects and fantastic artists that, you know, we want to support. And supporting those artists is what we do. It's just like kind of the residency is a kind of a more sustained and substantial engagement, you know, but even if we can't, we can't, you know, do that for everybody, we have more limited ways of engaging with people. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us, you know, and let us know what you're doing.
So I think,
I want to real quickly. So I went through the residency this past cohort. So I think just want to give a little insight about how I approached the application, because there are a lot of similarities from when I filled it out when I got my acceptance into the residency. So if this is helpful, one, it was the first time I ever applied for a residency as well. I had never applied for a residency before, so I understand that experience of being like, what do I do? How do I get noticed in this process, you know? And how do I explain who I am and what I'm trying to do? And so I think, you know, what can be really helpful and useful and important, as we've shared a lot of gems already, is that find some time to go through the process don't try to rush it, like, and get it done like all in one moment, you know, take your time with it and maybe fill it out and then come back to it a few days later or a week later. Like, give yourself that time to be like, is this really what I want to say? You know, because sometimes like we need to get it out and then we come back to it and we're able to like be like, oh, this is actually here, this part is of all of this that I wrote, this is the part that I want to expand on, you know. So give yourself that time and that process to do that and enjoy it, right? Because really see the application as a tool in and of itself, whether you get the residency or not. It's a tool to start really thinking about who you are as an artist and what you want to do with your art. And so give yourself that space when you approach the application. In addition, don't doubt who you are. You know, believe in who you are and bring that essence of self experience and knowing and lifting of yourself into that process. Speak yourself into existence in this application, you know, and be fearless in that. And in addition to that, I would say, while so many, I think, artists that are drawn to the dark matter residency, I'm a multidisciplinary artist, even more now after the residency, to be honest. So picked up new skills and new things along that journey, you know, so like even more so, you know, now. But when I applied, like it was definitely under the multidisciplinary, and it was like, you know, 8 different things that I do. And that's truthful, right? But what I really got to do with this application process is think about what happens when I bring those pieces of me together into a whole experience, right? What might that look and feel like and sound like and smell like and taste like, right? And then the last thing I will say is like, while we like are so expansive, it's, you know, like breath, it's important to breathe out, but then come back in, right? So then in that process of expansion, find some time to come back in and focus what you're trying to say about what you want to do. Because that focus is going to allow us to understand what you're visioning can happen in the 7 months. And once you're into the residency, we can expand again, you know, and we can play. But take that time to really focus what it is you're trying to say to us so that we're able to understand really clearly how you're going to maximize and utilize the 7 months to engage yourself, to breathe life into yourself, and to call this artist that you want to become into existence.
Great advice, Katrina, really. Especially the part about starting and coming back to it, because I think you want to start, because the natural inclination for any deadline is to wait till the deadline to try to get it in. And you may submit the thing on the deadline, but I would definitely not wait till the last moment, because so many people have had like technical issues all of a sudden their computer starts acting up 5 minutes before the deadline and stuff like that. So you may wait till the last day, but I would definitely not wait till the last moment. And then making an iterative process, like Katrina said, I think is really super, super, super helpful. And yeah.
Yeah. And also, you
Katrina?
know, and I really love what you said about just using it as an opportunity to just envision what your project is going to be. You know, it's not just something you have to convince us, you know, it's like, this is an opportunity to think through a process of like what you might do. Even if you don't stick to that, you can think about what you want, what's the goal and what are the steps you're going to use to get there and how it fits in and how you can present it to the community in different ways, you know. And whether you end up doing it exactly that way or not at all like that way, or whether it's part of the residency or not, I think it could still be a valuable process. So I feel like, you know, hopefully it can be a value in and of itself to just have an opportunity to sit with your concept and just kind of sit and think it through. This is the time when I, as promised, have to cut out. But I'm so happy to have been able to meet you a little bit and to hear from you and to hear from my wonderful collaborators on this wonderful thing that we love to do very much. And just start getting excited about the new faces that we're about to see at Atlantic. It's gonna be fantastic. Yeah. So thank you all very, very much. Y'all can continue to talk, but I got to go.
Yeah, I gotta bounce too.
Yeah, I wanted to end this by 8 anyway. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Angel. Appreciate it. But Katrina, did you have one more thing you wanted to say?
One more thing about the application to you, Jazz, and anybody else that watches this afterwards. One, the writing part is one part of the application. The other part is be really intentional with your choices of what you show us of your work, because that's the other component to the application is giving us work samples, right? So just be really intentional to the, about like putting your best foot forward in terms of here are some work samples that show, what the possibilities that I can do, and so if you do a lot of things, show us, but be really intentional with those choices. And then the last thing is, we can't wait to see what you're gonna show us. So excited. So.
Fun. So true.
Thank you all. I appreciate your time and hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and love.